topic for today's discussion is square root of perfect squares. In this topic, we will learn about square root, then we will discuss what a perfect square number is, and finally, we will learn about a new technique of finding square root of perfect square numbers. I hope you all are ready to learn. So, let us begin. Squaring of a number is a simple process. It can be defined as multiplying a number by itself. Thus, for example, if we multiply 4 by 4, we said to have squared the number 4. The symbol of square is represented like this by putting a small 2 on the right upper corner of the number where x is any number to be squared. Let us now take a look on few more examples. Suppose we need to find square of 8. Do you know how do we represent it? We will represent it by putting a small 2 on the right upper corner of the number 8 in the same manner as shown to you. 8 square can be solved by multiplying 8 by itself. That is, 8 multiplied by 8 gives you 64. This is how we have found that square of 8 is 64. Similarly, square of 5 is 5 multiplied by itself and gives answer 25. This method of squaring a number stands true for any number in mathematics. Let us now talk about square root. From the above example, we can say that 25 is the square of 5 and 5 is the square root of 25. First of all, let us find how the symbol of square root looks like. This is the symbol of square root and it is represented as square root of x, where x is any number whose square root is to be calculated. For instance, suppose you have a number 36. Can you find a number which when multiplied by itself gives you 36? Let's start with 1. 1 multiplied by 1 gives us 1. 2 multiplied by 2 gives 4. 3 multiplied by itself gives 9. 4 multiplied by itself gives 16. 5 multiplied by 5 gives 25. And what is 6 multiplied by 6? When 6 is multiplied by 6, it gives 36. So, I think we have got our answer because when 6 multiplied by 6 gives us 36. Therefore, a number which when multiplied by itself to give 36 is 6. Or we can say that the square root of 36 is 6. But what if you encounter with a bigger number? Will you be able to find the square root of bigger number by just inspection as we have done now? It is possible, but a bit time consuming process. I give you a number 7744. Find the square root of this number. This number is large enough compared to 2-digit numbers and it is indeed difficult to find out the square root of these type of bigger numbers. Why not find out a simple method of finding square root of a bigger number which is a perfect square? But before moving further, you all must know what is the meaning of perfect square. Let's discuss. A perfect square is the result of multiplying a given number by itself. In other words, it is the product of same integer with itself. For example, 9 is the perfect square number since it is written as 3 multiplied by 3. 16 is the perfect square number since it is written as 4 multiplied by 4. 144 is also a perfect square number because 12 multiplied by 12 gives 144. Let us now discuss the method of finding square root of perfect squares. To find the square root, it is necessary to be well versed with the squares of numbers from 1 to 10. The squares are given in the table. Look at the first row of the table. We have 1 in the number column and 1 in the square column. Similarly, in the 9th row, we have 9 in the number column and 1 of 81 in the square column. Therefore, if a number whose square root is needed to be calculated ends in 1, the square root of that number will end in 1 or 9 because 1 multiplied by 1 is 1 and 9 multiplied by 9 is 81. Do not worry if you don't follow this immediately. You may take a look at the table as you listen further explanation. Everything will get clear. Similar to 1 and 9 relationships, if a number ends in 4, the square root of that number will end in 2 or 8 because 2 multiplied by 2 is 4 and 8 multiplied by 8 is 64. If a number ends in 9, the square root ends in 3 or 7 because 3 multiplied by 3 is 9 and 7 multiplied by 7 is 49. If a number ends in 6, the square root ends in 4 or 6 because 4 multiplied by 4 is 16 and 6 multiplied by 6 is 36. If a number ends in 5, the square root ends in 5 only because 5 multiplied by 5 is 25. If a number ends in 0, square root also ends in 0 because 10 multiplied by 10 is 100. On the basis of these observations, we can form a table. From this table, we can find that whenever we come across a number whose last digit is 9, we can conclude that the last digit of the square root will end in 3 or 7. Similarly, whenever we come across a number whose last digit is 6, we can conclude that the last digit of the square root will be 4 or 6. If the last digit of the number is 1, the square root of that number will end in 1 or 9. If the last digit of the number whose square root is to be calculated is 4, the last digit of the square root will 2 or 8. If last digit of the number is 5, the square root will end in 5, and if the last digit of the square is 0, the last digit of the square root will be 0. Now, I want you to look at the column in the left. It reads last digit of the square, and numbers contained in this column are 1, 4, 9, 6, 5, 0. Note that the numbers 2, 3, 7 and 8 are absent in this column. That means there is no perfect square which ends with the numbers 2, 3, 7 and 8. Thus, we deduct a rule. And the rule says, a perfect square will never end with the digits 2, 3, 7 and 8. At this point, we have understood how to find the last digit of the square root. However, in many cases, you will have two possibilities out of which one is correct. Further, we do not know how to find the remaining digits of the square root. So, we will solve a few examples and observe the technique to find the complete square root. Before proceeding ahead with the examples, I have given you a list of squares of numbers which are the multiples of 10 and 100. This table will help us to easily determine the square root. Let us start with an example to calculate square root of 7744. You can see that the number ends in 4, and from the table we can find that the square root will end in 2 or 8. At this stage, the answer is either 2 or 8, which are the last digits of the possible answers. Next, we consider the full number 7744. We find that the number 7744 lies between 6400, which is the square of 80, and 8100, which is the square of 90. Where does the number 7744 lies? We can easily find that the number 7744 lies between 6400 and 8100, which are the squares of 80 and 90 respectively. From the first step, we know that the square root ends with either 2 or 8. From the second step, we know that the square root lies between 80 and 90. Of all the numbers between 80 and 90, which are 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88 and 89, the only numbers ending with 2 and 8 are 82 and 88. Therefore, we will strike out all the other numbers. Thus, out of 82 and 88, 1 is correct answer. Observe the number 7744. Is it closer to the smaller number 6400 or closer to the bigger number 8100? If the number is closer to the smaller number 6400, then take 82 as the answer. However, if it is closer to the bigger number 8100, then take 88 as the answer. As you can easily find out that 7744 is closer to 8100. Therefore, we will take 88 as the answer. Hence, square root of 7744 is 88. Let us find out square root of 9801. What is the last digit of this number? The last digit of this number is 1. What will be the last digit of the square root? Let us look at the table and find out. The last digit of the number 9801 is 1. Therefore, according to the table, the last digit of the square root will be 1 or 9. The answer at this stage is 1 or 9, which are the last digits of the possible answers. what is the next step? For the next step, let us find out where the number 9801 lies. Look at the table. From this table, we observe that the number 9801 lies between 8100, which is square of 90, and 10,000, which is square of 100. Thus, our answer lies between 90 and 100. Our possible answers at this stage are 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99. However, from the first step, we know that the square root will end in 1 or 9. And only numbers ending with 1 or 9 are 91 and 99. Therefore, we will strike off all the remaining numbers. And we are left with two answers, that is 91 and 99, out of which one is correct. Can you tell me the number 9801 is closer to which number out of 8100 and 10,000? Yes, it is closer to 10,000. So, we will take 99 as the answer out of 91 and 99. Therefore, square root of 9801 is 99. In all the examples we have discussed, the final answer is always a two-digit number. We will take one more example, which is a bigger number as compared to the examples we have just discussed, so that you will understand the fundamentals thoroughly. Let us find out the square root of 15,625. The last digit of the number 15,625 is 5. What will be the last digit of the square root? Let us look at the table and find out. The last digit of the number is 5. Therefore, according to the table, last digit of the square root will be 5. The answer at this stage is 5, which is the last digit of the square root. What is the next step? For the next step, let us find out where the number 15,625 lies. Look at the table. From this table, are you able to find the number 15,625? No, because the last number in this table is 10,000. Therefore, let's extend the table. From this extended table, we observe that the number 15,625 lies between 14,400, which is square of 120, and 16,900, which is square of 130. Thus, our answer lies between 120 and 130. Our possible answers at this stage are 121, 122, 123, 124, 125, 126, 127, 128 and 129. However, from the first step, we know that the square root will end in 5 and the only number ending in 5 is 125. Therefore, we will strike out all the other numbers, keeping 125 as our answer. Square root of 15,625 is 125. I hope you have enjoyed and understood this new method of finding square roots of perfect squares. Now, I am going to give you few questions to solve square root. The numbers in these questions are perfect square numbers and you have to follow the steps we have discussed in this lesson. Thank you. Your first question is, what is the square root of 1936? And your possible answers are 94, 24, 44, 54, out of which 1 is correct. Your second question is, find out the square root of 12,769. And you are given with 4 options: 127, 113, 123 and 117, out of which 1 is correct. The answers to these questions will be given to you once you solve all the questions.